Welcome to Top 5 Monday, where we are going to cover the top 5 coins in the crypto markets based on their market cap. So you can get a clear picture to plan for the rest of the week. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I've been focused on trading currencies, but now exclusively focused on crypto. So let's dive straight in. First of all, going to coin market cap, we can see Bitcoin obviously is number one. So we're going to cover Bitcoin, then we're going to jump into Ethereum, then we're going to jump into Binance coin, then we're going to jump into Cardano. Number 5 in terms of market cap is Tether. Well, that's a stable coin, so we're going to skip over that and go into Solana. So let's go into Bitcoin. So we've been doing a lot of focus on Bitcoin recently because look, it's like an indicator of the whole market. And it's been a bit confusing with the whole, because the patterns, remember with Elliot wave and Fibonacci, especially Elliot wave, it's only around 50% of the times that the patterns are clear cut. And when the patterns are not that clear cut, hey, look, we just got to take things with a pinch of salt. But what is clear cut is more the recent price action. So firstly, let's just jump into a weekly chart. What we can see in the weekly chart is that the momentum has officially gone bullish. So what does that mean? Well, even if I just get rid of this green line and this pink line, the blue line is now, well, the beginning of next week, the blue line is over the red, meaning that the momentum is now on the upside. So we should always anticipate sideways to up, sideways to up. Very, very key piece of information. Over the last few weeks, we've been focused on sideways to down because the momentum was in this phase, but now the momentum is in this phase, and we've been patiently waiting. So we just take the objective information and act in kind. Then that gives us a slightly different viewpoint now because we've got a bullish reversal on the weekly momentum. This now looks more like a wave 2 low that will hold. So we're anticipating that this part of the market will hold. So I can draw a line down here. And then what I just want to give the update on with today with Bitcoin is it looks likely that even if I get rid of these and I just zoom right the way in, so you get a nice clear picture, is, let me put that there, zoom in a bit more, and if we keep it really focused, is this here looks more like, it's quite a deep wave 2, but even if I draw it like this, it looks like a nice wave 1, wave 2, or it looks like a wave 3, sideways to down until this momentum goes to the oversold zone, sideways to down, wave 4, and then we should anticipate a wave 5 where we'll probably break this high over here. Now on on an immediate time scale, typical wave 4s are 38.2% of wave 3. So if we just measure this here to here, nice and simple, keeping it basic, simplicity being the ultimate sophistication, the minimum that we expect is 38.2%. And we also, because this correction over here, there's a principle of alternation. This is a really simple, clean ABC zigzag, right? When that occurs, the wave 4 tends to be more complex and should normally take longer. So this over here, this red line, is the typical minimum of a wave 4. So we should anticipate, even if I get rid of these now, we don't need these. We should anticipate wave 4 should take longer than the 6th of October, longer to unfold. So it's sideways to down. That also coincides with the momentum, is bearish on the daily chart. So sideways to down for the next few days. And we shouldn't see a price go below this point here, which is the peak of the wave 1. But again, as the market unfolds, Bitcoin sideways to down, but overall, we should expect higher highs being made. Let's just finish on one more thing with Bitcoin before we move into Ethereum. And let me know what you think of this. Top 5 Mondays. I was thinking, because now I want to cover much more altcoins because I think we're going to see some really great bullish behavior in a lot of the markets. If this is a wave 1 and a wave 2, and if it holds, well, what do we anticipate next? Well, it's a wave 3. And what's typical wave 3? Well, typical wave 3 is 1.618 to 2.618 of wave 1. So if you haven't already, take my free Elliot Wave and Fibonacci masterclass because I cover this in a bit more detail. So here I can do it faster, but in the masterclass I cover it slow, so it makes more sense. If you're not used to this stuff, the key two ratios that I'm looking for is 1.618 and 2.618. And if I just do this, zoom it right the way in, we go, we should, if it unfolds this way with Bitcoin, see a nice movement to the upside between the range of 76,000 to 100,000 over the coming weeks and months. So, but immediately, because I know a lot of you are swing trading or a lot of you are scalping. Like when I look at my private Telegram group, everyone's talking about more the shorter term movements. So if you're looking to get to the shorter term movements, I would actually say stand aside with Bitcoin, wait for the next bullish reversal on the daily momentum. And when it does this and it coincides, there might be a great short-term opportunity over here for a wave 5. And then at that point, we can look at the data and see what's likely. So there you have it, Bitcoin. Now let's jump into number 2. Ethereum. Ethereum and Bitcoin look almost identical. Look at the patterns. Like if we look at Ethereum, so Bitcoin like this, look at Ethereum. Looks almost identical, And again, we don't need to get too anal on the longer term time frame. Let's just look at the more immediate time frame. First of all, weekly, similar to Bitcoin, the weekly momentum is now bullish, meaning the blue line's gone over the red. That is very valuable information. So now over the next few weeks, we should expect sideways to up, but then keeping it focused on the daily chart. Because again, I like to go look at the larger swings, so we don't get too caught up in the day-to-day movements, though I do know many people are drawn into trade the younger or the more immediate time frames. But again, similar to Bitcoin, wave 1 looks like a wave 2, and then a wave 3. And again, very similar to Bitcoin, almost identical, where we're saying, look, this looks like a wave 1, 2, looks like a nice impulsive wave 3, sideways to down, and then we expect a wave 5. And again, on a micro degree, if you're used to Elliot wave counts, you'll know that there's a macro degree count, and then there's a lesser degree count, which is intermediate, and then you can even go to a micro degree count. So here we are saying there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a wave 1 of a wave 3. Like, what? Take my masterclass. I'm telling you, I cover it. It's such valuable information. But here, let me just make it clear here, like this. Let me just get rid of this. Again, here we're saying this is a wave. Looks like a wave 1. Now it looks like a more obvious wave 2, now that we've got the bullish reversal on the weekly. Now it looks like we're going to have an unfolding of a wave 3, but a wave 3 will typically unfold into 5 waves. So it's a wave 1 of a wave 3, a wave 2 of a wave 3, a 3 of a wave 3, a 4 of a wave 3, and a 5 of a wave 3. That's what we mean by degrees of counts, right? So what we're looking at more immediately down here, if I draw it like this, just to kind of give you the gauge, because we can really get some really accurate information over here. So wave 1, I even write it like this, wave, just in case you're not used to it, wave 1 of a wave 3. Right, we don't need it so big. Let's just put it as 20, and let's just make it a different color so it's nice and clear. Just saying, hey, we might get a wave 1 of a wave 3, and then do anticipate, if you're looking to get in on the correction, that we might have a pullback. Now, it might behave something similar to what Solana did, where it kind of, if it breaks this, and it could just kind of take off. But more often than not, because we're in the probability game, not the certainty game, you should have a bit of a pullback like this before we see the next move to the upside. So there you have it. Ethereum, again, let's just make that really, really clear immediately. That's my cat in the background jumping around. If you're looking for a long trade with Ethereum, again, just purely based on elite wave counts and Fibonacci, is I would personally, almost identical to Bitcoin, wait for the next daily bullish reversal, and then when you get that, typical, let me just do it like this. Typical wave 4s are 38%. Since the sneeze coming, I knew it was coming. 38% of wave 3s, so down here, which shouldn't close in the range of wave 1. And if you are looking for, if you're not familiar with coming up with trade strategies, what you can do is wait for these candles to unfold, these bar, the next day bar, the next day bar. When we get the next bullish reversal, you can actually say on the next 1 bar high, when the price goes above, it can be a nice entry point. And what's normally a good stop loss is what would invalidate the count. What would invalidate the count is if the price goes below into this wave 1 zone. So actually a good stop loss zone is, I'll use the term zone, is below, just below here. If not, just below the 1 bar high or the 1 bar low of the 1 bar high. So you can kind of have some stop loss objectives as well. You should have it in your trade plan already, but I know some people are experienced and some people are brand new to this whole space. So you want to have some idea on your strategies. So there you have it. Ethereum looks like we are on a micro level wave 4 before we see a wave 5 of a wave 1 of a wave 3. That doesn't make any sense to you, take my free Elliot Wave Fibonacci masterclass. I cover it because I know it's not, everything is difficult before it's easy. All right, we are jumping into number 3, Binance, BNB, Binance Coin. I haven't done an update on this for a while. And again, this is not typical because you got to remember a few things, right? With crypto, just kind of reminding myself here, we had a nice move to the upside. We're calling this a nice wave 1 with BNB. If I can draw this like this, boom. And typically corrections happen in 3 waves. Now, this was so impulsive. So we knew that this was unlikely to be the end of the correction. Had a bit of a movement upside, which we're calling a wave B, and then a sideways wave C, and bump. That looks like a more than likely a wave 2 low. So it looks like we're at the beginning of a wave 3. And again, just on the same note, lesser degree count, a wave 1 of a wave 3. Looks like we're on some type of wave 2 of a wave 3. And then we can anticipate what's going to happen next. And there might be some great opportunities coming up. So let's just quickly focus on the macro first. Macro being, if this unfolds this way, let's just move. I'm going to move this just there because I need the price data. And this just over here. Typical wave 3. So you can kind of go, because you want to get the biggest swing. You want to ride the wave. The trend is your friend. Ride it until its end, until it reaches its bend. That's the whole the textbook classic saying in trading terms. So what we're looking for is, where does a wave 3 often end? And remember, crypto is a very young market. First Bitcoin was mined in January 2009. So it's only like, 12 years? 12 years? And these projects have only been around for a few years. So the infancy of the psychology actually shows itself even clearer than the stock markets and even the Forex markets. So typical would be roughly around here. So the 2 price zones is 1.618 and 2.618. So BNB, a potential wave might be towards 1,300 to 2,000, right? 1,300 to 2,000. So what's that? It's around a 3 to 5x, give or take. So there's a potential wave that you can ride, right? Boom, similar to Solana, and it hasn't done that yet, right? So now we can look more intricately on where would be the potential best opportunity, and we can take a short-term profit as well to de-risk ourselves because we don't want to be losing money. But can we ride this wave and make some really good profits? All right, so let's look at a couple of things. So let's just jump out this chart. Again, similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, top left, weekly momentum is now bullish. Blue line's over the red, so we can anticipate sideways to up. That's very valuable information to us. Very, very, very valuable information. Here on the micro, we got this wave 1, wave 2. We got great. So we are now assuming, if I can get rid of this, I'm just going to zoom in like this, that if this is a wave 2 low, that the price should not go below this point. All right, that's what would invalidate the wave count. Right, boom. Then we got this move to the upside and move to the downside. So now what I'm saying here, it's not very, from this chart, not that clean of a structure. However, on a intermediate level count, what we can do is over here, say it looks like a wave 1, and I'm going to draw it. This is how I teach it in the masterclass and my further courses. When you're writing it, you want to have a short notation. You're basically saying a wave 1 of a wave 3. That's how you would write it. Wave 1 of a wave 3. And then down here looks more like a wave 2 of a wave 3, right? It's down here. And this just makes it really clean, especially when I'm going to do regular updates on these. We don't have to kind of go over this every time, but I'm just going over it in detail here. And then we can look at a few things. Well, first of all, the momentum. We don't want a long trade right now because the daily momentum is in the overbought zone. So we want to wait for the next bullish reversal, right? So we want the probability in our favor. Wait for it to come down, wait for the blue line to go over the red, and then the momentum on the daily and on the weekly is pointing in the same direction. So weekly is currently pointing up, but the daily is pointing down. We want to be patient, wait for it to reverse, and then point back up, and then bang, we can look to pull the trigger. And then let's just do some, just some basic textbook Elliot wave and Fibonacci ratio. So a correction normally occurs between 50 to 78.6%. And in between is 62%. These are the three ranges. So we can see we're in that range. I'm gonna probably put together a new time analysis course because time is such an important, valuable piece of analysis that I don't find many people use. There we go. Typical minimum corrections take around 50% of the previous wave. So we can see we're close to that. We're close to that. So that gives us a bit more confidence that this could be a low. And the typical maximum, most common, is 100%. So what does that mean? What do I mean by that? We've got a price and time zone, right? Price and time zone over here, right? Very, very important. Get rid of this because that's on the other side that we was looking at. Also, this looks like three waves, ABC correction. Look at this, wave down. Don't need to get too anal here, wave up, and then another wave down, right? Then we've had this big impulsive wave, much bigger than any other wave on the upside. What that tells us, that's an overbalance of price. That'll be one of the first major clues that we've had a trend reversal. So now we can have a bit more confidence to say, hey, BNB might have reached the low down here. So this could be a wave 2 of a wave 3 low. I'm just going to put a question mark here because, we're in a probability game, not a certainty game. As soon as you know what's going to happen, you've lost because no one knows what's going to happen. Yeah. And what I mean by that is the wrong mindset. So we want to have a nice question mark here saying, look, the probability is that is a wave 2 of a wave 3 low, which would suggest that this low should not get taken out. If you were putting a stop loss, that would be the lowest point that you would put it, just beneath this point over here. So now what we can do is, again, if we wanted to go in a bit more detail, we could say, look, this looks like a nice A, B, C of a wave 2. If I can grab this here, of a wave 2 of a wave 3, right? That's now 3 degrees. Wave C of a wave 2 of a wave 3, right? Again, I cover it in more detail in my Elliot Wave and Fibonacci masterclass, which is in the description. Just so you want this to be like a common language, especially if you're following a lot of my analysis. I'm looking through the eyes and the lens of Elliot Wave and Fibonacci, which is my training. That's what I've been mainly trained in. That's why I use it. So powerful. So now we've got this move to the upside. Very powerful move to the upside. So now we're going to go, right, we don't want to buy right now because it's likely we're going to see a correction. So we're going to wait patiently. So what we're going to do now to finish up on BNB is let's jump into a lower time frame. Let's see what it looks like on a 4-hour chart, right? I'm even going to jump into a 1-hour chart. Let's just jump in. I just want to have a quick glance. What I'm looking for is a 5-way structure. And what this looks like to me, just at first glance over here, sometimes it's easier to see it as a line chart. Gives us pretty much the same information. All right, we can get rid of this info now because we don't need this. We're saying that this is the correction is complete, is our opinion of the market. Now I'm looking at one more degree of count where this looks like to me potentially is a nice wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, looks like a wave 4, anticipate a wave 5. And if that's the case, like this, then we should anticipate a nice deep pullback, boom, and then we're looking for buying opportunities in this kind of range, So unless you're a really short-term trader and you want to trade this movement, from around 400 to 450, if that's your game plan, very, very simple. All you do is we can do a couple of things. Let's just do it because I think you'll find it useful. Is if we measure wave 3, I want to do a retracement actually. Let's do. I want to just show you something because measuring wave 1, projecting from wave 2 low, you'll see the 2.618 is a typical maximum wave 3, so it's in that region, and we're looking for a correction comparable to this wave 2. This wave 2, we're looking for a comparable, and this looks like a comparable A, B, C, quite clean. So we could trade along. I'm not saying you should, but I've noticed that a lot of people, when I look at my private Telegram group, a lot of people are much more focused. I don't know if it is an experience thing or, whatever it is. These things unfold on all time frames and all markets. So what we can do is to go, all right, this looks like a wave 3. What's the typical wave 4 on this level here? Let me just show you this because this is powerful. It's going to zoom in over here. Remember, we're on an hourly chart now. Keeping in mind that the momentum is down, but you could do a 4-hour and a 1-hour time frame if you wanted to do so. It's not really my cup of tea because it requires more work for little returns. I prefer the bigger moves and the bigger swings. So we can measure this wave 3. Typical wave 4 is 38.2%. You can see you haven't reached that zone. And then there's another ratio, which is quite important when it comes to this wave 1 to wave 3. And on this wave, we can take the 23.6%. And you can see it's just tagged that zone there. And then we've got this, what looks like an ABC correction. We can do that as well. So this looks like a potential wave 4 low. And we'll probably, we've got this bullish reversal here. And we'll probably get a 5-wave sequence to kind of end this wave over here. But what I'm more interested in is measuring wave 1 to 3, projecting it forward from wave 4 low. There's 3 key ratios. It's 38, 62, and 100%. Right? And we can do one other thing here. I'm doing it quite fast. I cover this in more detail in my courses and in the masterclass. The masterclass is free, by the way, so do take it if you haven't already. I put a lot of work into simplify this very powerful but sometimes complex area. 1.618 is the typical maximum of a wave 5 when a wave 5 has a relationship to a wave 4, and also wave 1s and wave 5s tend to mirror each other. This is more the red line. So I'm looking at the red line. I'm just going to get rid of the other 2. Bam. So we've got this zone over here. We can even do time. There's a quick basic time analysis. Wave 1s and wave 5s tend to mimic each other in terms of how long they take to unfold. And the typical is 100%, sometimes 62, but more often it's 100. And the typical maximum is 162%. So now we've got these 2 zones for a wave 5. Let's just get this over here. Got these 2 zones, bang, bang. Right, and typically if it shoots past this one, that's typically the next zone. And the reason I'm showing you like this is then once it unfolds, if it does unfold like this, then we're looking for a 50 to 78.6% correction. And then one of the safest times to buy is on the first pullback, which is in this kind of zone over here. So that's BNB. So BNB, again, for me personally, is stand aside, wait for the daily momentum to turn bullish, and then reevaluate, and that should coincide with what we just said. So that's top 3, Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB. Now let's go into Cardano. Right, Cardano, we know, they released their smart contracts on the 12th of September. There's going to be a lot of innovation happening on Cardano. The ecosystem is growing very fast. You've even got the Bluezilla team that's launched Adapad on the 9th of September, was it? So they're going to be launching a lot of new projects onto the Cardano. I think AstroSwap is one of them. But let's just look at Cardano independently of everything from a total psychology standpoint. We've said on a macro, we said this a while ago, had this beautiful move to the upside. If I can get this right here, boom. And then we had this nice correction, pretty clean A, B, C, and we pegged this over here. Then we've had an initial move to the upside. Now, the fact of the matter is this move to the upside is not reached any type, not even close. Let me get rid of these because this is something I would have done a while ago. Not even reached close to any type of wave 3 zones. And what I mean by that, I'm going to show you if I can get this out of the way here. Boom. Let me just do this. Right. So this does not look like a wave 3. Why? Because typical wave 3s are bigger than wave 1s. And wave 3, the rule of Elliot wave is wave 3 can never be the shortest out of wave 1, 3, and 5. So I'm going to measure wave 1, project it forward from the wave 2 low. And the 2 real zones that we're looking for is 1.618 and 2.618 on a Fibonacci standpoint. We can get rid of this. We don't need that right now. So the 2 real zones that I'm looking at for Cardano is $4.60. So let's call it around the $5 range, and $7 or $6.80, right? $6.80 for a wave 3 where we want to be aware of. So today's price is what? $2.17 give or take. So there's a good 2x to this point. And then a potential 3.5x to this point. Is that great returns? Yes, no, I don't know. That depends on you, right? Depends on you and what you regard, kind of getting your risk reward ratios right. Because one of the great things with more mature projects is they're more established. You feel more confident. Cardano's been around for a while. A lot of development happening. But let's just look at this from an objective standpoint. Similar to what we saw with BNB, this initial move to the upside looks like a wave 1 of a wave 3, right? So we can just write it in here. And again, I'm just going to start writing it in the notation. I think I cover this in the masterclass. I definitely cover it in my courses, which I'm running at a big discount right now, by the way, because I was just realizing a lot of people are going to lose money in crypto. Even though a lot of people are going to be in profit, everyone's terrible at taking profits unless you're kind of trained and you got a trade plan that kind of outlines exactly what you should be doing at what price targets. Everyone just kind of hodls, and that can be a great thing long term, but most people are not trained to be long term, so we need to be aware of that as well. All right, so let's just look at Cardano's weekly momentum. Similar to Bitcoin, Ethereum, deeply oversold. The blue line hasn't crossed the red yet, but again, one more week and a bit of bullish movement. That blue is likely to cross over the red, so that's the top left over here. Again, similar to the other markets, the upside, what we want to be patient. Patience is tough in this game because of FOMO, fear of missing out. I hear it all the time in my private Telegram groups, feeling the FOMO, but people are now starting to, get patient, sit on those hands. But we want to wait for the next bullish reversal. And now let's just look at this down here. Let's just do some basic Fibonacci price. In this retracement, bam, bam. We got 50%, 62%, and 78.6. We can see we've tagged the 50%. So we kind of leave these out for now, right? Again, we haven't had as much. I guess if we just look at this, the time analysis is going to help us here. Because sometimes it's not clear to see. Let's just see the time analysis, low to the high. Typical minimum time taken for any correction, more often than not, is 50%. And we're close to that 50%. But are we at that 50%? That's a bit more difficult to see. So we got this range. So this we're putting here more accurately. I'm just having a quick glance here. Bump, bump, bump. Yeah, so what this looks like is a potential. And again, you hear me use the word potential because we're in a probability game, not a certainty game. We've got this potential A, B, C. There's a 5-wave sequence. This move here is bigger than any previous move, right? So that's an overbalance of price. So that's a good signal. And we've had a bullish reversal here. The weekly momentum is oversold. So therefore, it could be that we have seen or are seeing, if we zoom right the way in for Cardano, is Cardano right? Yeah. Sometimes I can look at the ticker symbol and it doesn't matter what the ticker symbol is. We're just looking at the price data objectively. This could be the initial wave 1 of this new sequence, wave 2, and then on a lesser degree, it's a wave 1 of the next wave and a wave 2. People call this like triangles, wedges, flags, etc., etc. But what I would wait for is just be patient for the next bullish reversal. We can get rid of this. Let's just pull this up like this. Next bullish reversal on the daily. See where the price is. If it hasn't gone below this point or this point and is in this zone and it looks like a correction, there might be a great buying opportunity. But right now, might not be the best time because of the momentum. Even though we've got a bullish reversal here, I go actually giving it a few more days, maybe 3 to 4 days. And if it gets to this kind of zone, might be a much better opportunity to get a low risk, high reward setup. Keeping in mind, again, the next move that we're looking for is a wave 3 of a wave 3. Go, what? Yes, wave 3 of a wave 3. Tends to be the most impulsive wave, one of the most profitable waves. I found crypto is similar to commodities. In commodities, wave 5s tend to be the biggest, longest, most impulsive wave. In more the financial markets, it tends to be wave 3s. But we should expect a very impulsive wave with all the hype around it, with Cardano, with the smart contract, with the ecosystem, with AdaPad and other pads like Card Starter, etc. We're probably going to see it explode to the $7 range. So we want to get a nice high probability setup with minimal capital exposure. And if that does occur in the early phases, I'll show you even in this zone where there'll be some good opportunities to just take some money off the table, become risk-free. So even if the market moves up and then moves down, which is always a possibility, you want to still be able to make a small profit even when that happens. But if it does this, you make a big profit. That's the whole name of the game, probabilities. So there you have it, Cardano. Cardano, hopefully that was clear. We've got one more to go. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Cardano, and now we're going to finish up with Solana. Now, hopefully you've been watching my Solana videos. I haven't done one recently, but my previous ones, we did a video. It's really important that you watch it. You should definitely watch it. It was just textbook Elliot wave. You know, it's not really to brag that we hit it bang on, but we did. But it was purely just based on probabilities, nothing else. We did a video around here saying that we should expect this correction to occur. And then it occurred just textbook, time, price, pattern, right into this zone. And then we said, right, this looks like an end of a wave 2. And then in advance, we projected two price zones in advance. The other one was this one here. And at the time of the video, we said it's like to reach here or here. And look at Solana just exploded, shot past that resistance zone like it wasn't even there, straight to the 2.618, which is the typical maximum of a wave 3. And now we're on this corrective wave. And that's what we're going to look at today. It looks like we've done this beautiful wave 1, wave 2, this beautiful wave 3. What should we expect next? You got it, right? Wave 4. So we're going to look at what is the typical wave 4. So now this is no longer relevant. We can delete this. Yep, that's fine. We can zoom in a bit over here. Even these points here. In my private groups, I did a couple of updates with this to say, look, we've got an initial wave down. That's not typically the end of a correction. And we've got this move up, which looks like an A, B, C of a correction. So we should anticipate one more final leg down as a correction for a wave 4, right? That's what we're going to look at today. So, you know, I drew these a while ago, these points over here, and we look like we've hit these points. We got great. Looks like we're coming towards an end of a wave B. So what I'm looking at here is a nice wave A, B, C of a B, and then we should anticipate a wave C, right? And it looks like we're reaching this real critical zone over here, and we can do some brilliant analysis because this might be a great shorting opportunity. If you've got the skill set and the training and the platform to short Solana, and you go, short Solana, Jagir? Are you nuts? Are you not like hearing about Solana and the ecosystem and what's happening right now? Oh, yes, I am. But at the end of the day, most of the markets are driven by speculation, fear, and greed, short-term voting, and the voting is placed by selling, buying and selling. So if we take that into account, we go, okay, let's just ignore it, Solana for a second, and let's look at the Solana, the psychology. So the typical corrections is 62 to 78.6. You can see it's right in that zone, right? We got this ABC correction. And again, it's the ABC of a B. So remember, I'm talking about 2 degrees of wave counts. Again, I know if you're not familiar with that, that can be a lot of information. You know, you hear me say it, take my free Elliot Wave and Fibonacci masterclass because I cover it. I kind of give you the secrets that most people don't know about. It's an ABC of a wave B. So here we can keep this as an intermediate count. So it kind of makes it a bit more obvious that this is a C of a wave B, right? And a B of a wave 4. You go, okay. But I cover it in detail in my courses as well, which are running at a discount at the moment. The other thing here, which is very valuable, is more often than not, wave C as a maximum is 1.618. More common is 100%, which is here. You can see we've gone past that, and the typical maximum wave C is 1.618. So we're right in that zone here. Just tag that over there. And we want to be aware of that. Very, very important. And then last but not least, let's just do an external retracement, which is more of a confirming Fibonacci ratio. And the typical maximum is 1.618. And again, you can see that we've exceeded that over here. So we've got this great zone. We could also do a bit of time analysis. Let's just keep it basic. Typical wave B correction takes 50 to 100%. Look at that. Right in that zone. Perfect, right? But we can get even a bit more fine-tuned because we can go wave A's and C's often take the same amount of time, which is 100%, and typical maximum is 1.618. And look at that, it's right in that zone here, over here, right in that zone, which is Very, very valuable information for us. And we can even get rid of this because this is now a bit of a distraction. So we've now got price and time. And you go, all right, Jagir, well, there's two ways of thinking about this. You either go, right, Jagir, I wanna ride the wave 5. So that'll be my take. My take would be ride the wave 5. But if you're a swing trader and you go, I don't want to miss this downward movement, there's an opportunity over here of this potential wave 4 down here. I put a question mark because, again, you know it, we're in a probability game, not the certainty game. So this is what's likely to occur. So if we now just, again, remind ourselves, let's just go into a weekly chart. Again, still bearish. So sideways to down for maybe 1 or 2 more weeks with Solana. Yeah. So it doesn't have to marry up perfectly with Bitcoin and Ethereum, because they're independent at the same time, but there is a correlation. And we're getting oversold over here. So I would say on the next bearish reversal, we want to be very aware of what the price action is doing with Solana. And then if you're looking for a long, it may coincide, but it might be a bit longer as well. Because let's just do a couple of things here with Solana, because this is the 5th for our Top 5 Monday. How are you finding Top 5 Monday, by the way? Top 5 Monday, I want to cover more altcoins, bring more value. We've been focusing really heavily on Bitcoin recently, but now's the time we want to prepare ourselves, sharpen our axe, and prepare for these big opportunities that are coming. So let me know how you're finding this Top 5 Monday. I'm covering, I know we're going into a lot of depth, but we just have to. But hopefully you can skip forward. My team should be putting in timestamps below. So what we're going to do here is what I'm looking at. So what I'm doing here, I'm just looking at a smaller time frame because sometimes the waves are more structured with the smaller time frame. So we've got this movement to the downside. Let me just have a quick look. I'm just going to quickly reevaluate here. Yeah. So what I'm looking at here is this part of the market. Let me just get rid of this now for a second. I'll leave this price information here. What I'm looking at is wave C's more often than not break down into 5 waves. Remember I was telling you about the lesser degree wave counts? That can give us a massive clue of really pegging the end of a wave 5. So if you're shorting, what is going to tell us what is likely to be the end of a wave 5 is often the same trigger to take a short position, and you put your stop loss just above where the end of the wave 5 would be. So you got minimum capital exposure if you're trading it. So what we got here, what looks like to me, is we got this nice A, B, C of a wave B, and the beginning of this wave C is what I'm looking at over here. This is more advanced, and I cover in my courses, I cover the foundation of Elliott wave, the intermediate level of Elliott wave, and then the advanced level of Elliott wave. And the intermediate and advanced goes into the separate degrees of wave counts, because we're going for a wave 5 of a wave C of a wave B. So that's 3 degrees, right? If you can get 3 degrees with accuracy, that can give us incredible high probability setups. And that's what we're always looking for. This looks like a nice wave 1, a wave 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially a wave 5 here. Right? And I'll show you the next clue that I'm looking for. Then probably a wave 4, and then finishing up on a wave 5. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here. Again, this just allows me to go into a bit more of the nuances of, the art and the science and the pros and the cons of using some of these strategies. Is typical wave 3, like we said before. If we measure wave 1, project it forward from wave 2 low. Typical is 1.618 to 2.618. So we got this range, right? And then we have to ask ourselves the question: does this look like a wave, like a wave 4 has unfolded? And these little pullbacks don't look like a wave 4. Why? Because of the information that we have for this wave 2. Look how deep and long this is, right? Wave 4 should be quite comparable. So it looks like this might be the top, and we might be unfolding for a wave 4 now. So then I would say for, what are we on? We're on Solana, right? Solana. Again, it doesn't matter about the ticker symbol. People think it matters. It doesn't. Because it's looking at psychology of buying and selling. And a typical, let me just get rid of all this now. Let me just get rid of all this, because some of you, this is for you short-term traders, you swing traders, looking to get those pips. Those, let's just get rid of this for a second. I'm even going to get rid of these waves. I should get rid of these waves. Where is a typical wave 4? Well, a typical wave 4 is 38.2% of wave 3. So if we're calling this a wave 3 here, this here, and I'm actually this, now I'm calling wave C of a wave B up here. So this wave 5 is actually a sub-micro count, right? So sub-micro, let's go sub-micro, sub-micro. This makes it a bit clearer, 5 over C over B. Like, what, Jakia? I go, yeah, I know. We could even get a bit more detailed here, but we won't. The main thing I want to do is kind of give you you're almost getting the crystal ball effect of kind of as the leading indicator of what's likely to occur next. And again, sometimes I just find, especially with like high volume projects like Solana, where there's a lot of speculation going on, these patterns unfold really, really nicely. A typical wave 4 is, just so you know, my cat's about to join me over here. He's over here. If you ever hear a bell, it's my cat. My cat is Simba. He joins me in the morning. He's really the wisdom. Simba, say hello. Hello. All right. He's going to make himself comfortable on my lap. So there you go. It is what it is. All right, we're going to go for 38.2% is the most common, and the most common maximum is 50%. So what we should anticipate, and we can do a few other comparisons. One of the other comparisons we can do is a wave 2. Measure this wave 2. And more often than not, wave 4 is around the 100% region of the wave 2, right? Which is this zone here. So we can be quite confident. And again, normally when wave 2 is simple, I'm not saying that this is simple, it's not really a clear wave structure on this time chart, but we can see, we can just kind of measure it and get a bit of a feel for how long did that wave 2 take. And we can kind of say, look, we should anticipate wave 4 to be complete over the next day or so. So sideways to down, this wave 4 should not go into this range down here because it will break the Elliot rule. If it does, we need to reevaluate. And then we should expect a wave 5 high, boom. And then if I jump back into a daily chart now, because we're getting quite intricate here, because this is the beauty of this whole thing. We can get very, very intricate with some of these movements. Is I would anticipate this move here. That's the short you're looking for. That's the short, right? That's the short. That's, if you're shorting, and it still marries up. Weekly is still bearish. And here we are talking about 100 and potentially going from around $185 down to around $96. That's like a 50% correction, right? And then what I'm really, really talking about is this zone. If I can grab this zone here. If the market goes here, we don't need to go into too much analysis until it gets closer to this point, is this zone. This is the opportunity that we want to be patient for, and it will probably coincide with the weekly and the daily momentum. And then often, okay, here we've had a really impulsive wave 3. It was 2.618. So wave 5 is probably going to be more similar to this wave 1. That's more common, this wave 1 over here. So we'll probably get something more like this, maybe over here, like this. I can't remember what this red arrow was, so we're going to ignore this. Bang. So there you have it. Hopefully that was detailed enough for you short-term traders, but also the long-term picture for the Solana ecosystem and the Solana blockchain. But again, we're just looking at the analysis. So let me know, how did you find today? This was our first top 5 Monday. We covered Bitcoin, Ethereum, we covered BNB, we covered ADA, so Cardano, and we covered Solana, powerhouse projects, but we're just looking at the psychology of buying and selling. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let me know which was your favorite. Let me also know how you found today, because I'm here to go and serve you to make sure you're getting the best value. And make sure, please, take my free Elliot Wave and Fibonacci masterclass. Build it for you. I've simplified a lot of this complex topic, so you'll get more and more value from my content. And feel free to share that link as well. Feel free, get your friends, whoever's doing crypto. I think a lot more people need to know this. Let's finish on a quote. I'm going to read the same quote today. Say repetition is the mother of all skill, right? All right, so what's the quote today? No, actually, I'll read a different quote. Okay, just open up on chapter 4. Benjamin Franklin. He who is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. He who is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. Another way that I, interpret that is the way a person does one thing is more often than not the way they do most things in life. So just be aware of your internal dialogue, your internal conversations, what's working for you and not working for you. So keep practicing, keep doing what you're doing, but prepare yourselves now, because I think looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, I got this new mic stand now, so hopefully that's working out for us. Bitcoin and Ethereum, we've got that weekly bullish momentum. That's a key piece of information. So now the bias is on, and the probability is on sideways to up. The rest of the market is looking similar. So now is where we want to find those gems that are going to give us a 3x or a 5x if they're high market cap, like in the top 10, top 20, top 50 cryptocurrencies. But then we also want to be looking at part of our portfolio, IDOs, projects that are under the radar and less than 10 million market cap that can give us a 50x, 100x. Because if the market really takes off, a lot of money is going to be flowing in. There's going to be a lot of panic buying, and there will be a mania phase. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and let me know, what did you find most valuable today? See you soon.